Hello and welcome back to another episode here with me, Mark Sistrich. I'm here to talk to you about Damien Hirst today, an artist that is referred to as a surrealist businessman or also an artist of death. So I'll look here today and I'll kind of talk to you briefly about, you know, who he is. And he's born in England in 1965. He's working class family. His father was a mechanic that left when he was younger. He was raised by his mother, who basically encouraged him to draw. He was raised Catholic. He's influenced by Francis Bacon. He stated, "What's the meaning of life is actually to get to the other side," which encompasses his idea of death. He is known as a surrealist businessman, like I stated. He employs over 100 people actually help him with his work, too. A lot of his dot paintings, he actually has other people do them for him. Um, his sculpture is stated as the death of paint. So when you look at like his cow that was separated mother and child, he talks about how you can see the innards of the cattle and see how basically that is the lines of paint that are put down, but in a sculpture form. Um, and a good example, too, of this work, one of his first ones is called 1,000 Years. 1,000 Years is actually an encompassment of basically a bunch of flies that are raised from maggots to a cow's head that is dead, where there's also a bug zapper, so it shows how life goes from the beginning to the end of the circle of life. The work we're going to look at, though, today is actually what's called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, four apostles, and I'll show you here a good picture. So if we can see that here, okay. So if we look at this work here, we can actually see that it basically shows four different cow heads that are actually, put in formaldehyde, like his other works, like his shark and the different sculptures that he's put in here. You can see here that each different head represents each different apostle in the Bible. So each one has different objects inserted in them, like pins and knives and different butcher objects. If you look too, what's strange, if you think about this in a religious perspective, this formation of these boxes that he's put these heads in creates a symbol of a cross. So each apostle's head is in there. Some of the cows' actually heads have decomposed a little bit more than other ones too. I look at this as a very interesting idea. If we look at ancient culture and early religion, you can see that these are cow heads. Well, in paganistic society, the cow was slaughtered oftentimes and worshipped to their pagan gods. So I can see this as a correlation directly to the end of a paganism world to his Catholic perspective that he has with the heads of these cattle being cut up and materialized here for us to look at for a symbol of death and life. I find it's very interesting how he uses all these different devices. As far as sculpture, he's using living animals that are now dead, which really makes it very intriguing, kind of a shock value per se too. So that's just a little bit about how I see this work and a little bit about Damien Hirst, and I think his work is pretty amazing. I'm ready to see what he does next for us to shock and awe us. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching today. See you later. This is Mark Sistrich. Bye.